Oh my goodness, are we live? Alright, so, hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of Lethal Venom. Can't believe I'm saying that. This is a show where I talk about anything I want with the honest to God truth, no lies told. I'm your host, Noah May, and this is going to be basically a randomized show where I do whatever I want. There's not going to be no particular topics that are going to be discussed. It's basically a randomized show, so you don't know what you're going to expect. I never know what I want to do for a first episode, so I think for today, I wanted to do a little bit more about myself and kind of let you, as the listener, get a sense of how the show is going to work, and you'll get to learn a little bit more about me. As I said, my name is Noah. I'm 23 years old. I am from the great state of Alabama. I currently live in Auburn. I recently graduated from Auburn University with a bachelor's degree in journalism. I'm currently on the job hunt right now, and that's a whole story I could tell for another episode, for another day. I have always grown up here in Alabama. I'm from a small farm town about 2.5 hours away from Auburn. I like listening to music in my free time. I also like to read, write, watch YouTube, and of course hang out with friends and family. I have 2 pets from back home. I have 1 cat, 1 dog. The cat is, I would say, he's going to be turning 9 this year. His name's Jasper. He's a regular farm cat. We rescued him back in 2016. And a few years ago, we got a new dachshund. His name's Cooper. He is 2 years old. He actually is going to be 3 years old next month. So he's going to be 3 soon. Grew up on the lake. I am from a country town. I live out in the country. So you're going to get a southern accent from me on this podcast. So, which a lot of people seem to like. I don't know if that's the new fetish now, if you have to have a new country accent. I don't know. But probably somewhere out there is getting off to my voice right now. I currently live with 2 roommates, which is an experience. Live in a apartment complex where we have upstairs and downstairs neighbors. The downstairs neighbors are pretty cool. The upstairs neighbors are hippos. They stomp on the floor all day long, so you could hear them in the background. I do apologize for that, but that's basically what you're going to get from me from living in an apartment complex. So, is loud roommates that'll come in throughout the door and hippos upstairs that need to go to the gym. But anyways, I think for this one I wanted to do a little bit more about how this show is going to work. I did post a trailer, and I wanted the trailer to be about 3 minutes short because I didn't want it to be a full-length episode. Trailer and teaser are supposed to be short. So I'm going to explain this a little bit of how the episodes are going to go. So each week, it's going to be a new episode each week. This show was supposed to be posted last month. I wanted to start in January, getting it up and going. I did get my book podcast up in January, but then my roommate Grace ever so politely gave me the flu, and I lost my voice, so I could not talk. I'm still recovering from the flu, so coughing every breath, so I do apologize for that. I will try to cut out the coughs so you don't hear me coughing in the background, and then also you lose your hearing, you having to go to the doctor and be like, oh, I was listening to this podcast and I just got ear raped by a cough. So I don't want y'all to go to the hospital for that. But yeah, so this is basically a randomized show. There's not going to be any particular guidelines I'm going to follow. It's just basically talking about whatever I want. So it'll be rants, which I have so many rants I need to talk to y'all about. Oh, child. Movies. I could talk about movies I've seen and maybe do reviews for them, music reviews. I mean, this show's basically a what is he going to do type of show. Yeah, I didn't want to have this show be a particular fit in one category. I wanted this show to be more of a variety base for anyone that listens will get some sort of enjoyment, whether you're a movie buff, music buff, if you like to hear stories all the time, if you like to hear just some of the wackiest shit in the world. That's basically what this show is going to be, is crazy nonsense, something for the whole family to enjoy. Now, when I say family, this is going to be more of an uncensored version. There's so much of my life that I want to share that it's going to partake in using some cussing in there. It'll have some tough subjects as well, but of course I will definitely let y'all know at the beginning of each episode if there's going to be any triggering moments in here, just so you're prepared and it doesn't get thrown at you in the most just sporadically it dawns on you guys. I want to give you a heads up so you be prepared for when that moment comes. So depending on the episode, this could be more of a adult based show, but I'm only familiar with Apple Music or Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where they give the little explicit symbol. If there's an explicit symbol on the episodes coming forward, then you'll know that there's going to be cussing in it. So maybe don't have your child listen into it, because, you know, kids don't want to hear about very, very personal stuff, or some stuff that they don't need to be involved in yet. Kids need to be kids. I would want to be 5 years old, and here I am talking about losing my virginity. The kids need to have that innocence in them. But, so just look out for the little explicit things, and that will determine if it's family friendly for you guys, for the whole family to listen to. I don't want to curse, but, it's just going to happen with me. Southerners, we cuss like a sailor. That's just how we go. That's how we roll. That's just who we are. But, just be prepared for that, and I'll definitely let you guys know and ahead of time if it's available for kids. When I'm doing the more of the personal stuff, I am going to keep one thing for sure and bleeped out, and that is names. I don't want people to get personally attacked on here. That's just not who I am. I don't want to blast people on here and ruin people's lives. That's not what I'm going to do. So if I say a name, that name's going to be bleeped out. You're not going to know who I'm talking about. And some people are going to say, well, why say the name if you're just going to bleep it out? For some of the stories that I tell, is a lot of anger base that I've had built up for years that I have not had a chance to publicly say. So being able to say their name out loud and just tell what I want to say, that'll give me so much relief, being able to tell them off finally. And y'all can play that guessing game of who am I talking about, especially for the people I went to high school with, because I'm going to be doing an episode on y'all, and I ain't going to be holding it back. So you just better be prepared. If you went to my high school, you better be prepared that I've got some stuff to say. But, so for an example, I'm just going to give an example of what it'll sound like. I'm not going to give a fake name because I have the memory of Dory. And I could say Patrick for a place or name, and then 2 seconds later I'll say Kevin, and then I'll be like, what was what was the name I gave? So wait, I ain't gonna do fake names because I have the brain attention span of a bird. We ain't gonna do that. So if I'm saying a story and I said, so when I was in 5th grade, and this is gonna be a made up name, but just for an example, pushed me off the slide and I actually ended up getting a broke leg, her name is going to be censored out, bleeped out. It's not going to be a loud bleep, so I won't test it with my earbuds so before I post it, and just so I don't deafen you, okay? So if you hear a bleep, it'll be what you hear on TV, on reality shows, that classic bleep sound. That's the only thing I won't censor on this show, though. Businesses, It depends on the business. If it's a huge base name store like Walmart or Target, I probably wouldn't bleep it out because y'all wouldn't know what particular store I'm talking about. But if I said like a family owned business that was only known in town, then yeah, I probably would bleep that out. Which I don't think that's going to happen on here unless something in the future happens. I just have to tell about it and rant about it. But yeah, that's basically how this show's going to go. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, it's not. The big thing that I wanted to do, and the most important thing, and the fun thing for you guys, is you being able to participate in the podcast. How could I have forgotten about that? So, for each episode, and it will depend on the episode, but I am planning on doing a survey. It's a Google form survey to where you, as a listener, can have the chance of being on the show. And what I mean by that is, I'm just going to use an example for an episode that's coming up for dating, because I am going to be doing a show about my experience on dating apps and dating in general for Valentine's Day. It'll be a little late, but it's a love themed show. So I've currently got a Google form up that is live right now that will show just kind of some questions. What you'll do is read the description box before you fill it out first, so you'll know how the form goes. But it'll just be not many questions, maybe 4 or 5 questions, maybe even just one question, and it's your chance to be able to participate in the show. You can submit forms and have the chance to have your story told on here. Now again, as I said earlier, if you drop a name, I will bleep the name out. If you drop even a restaurant that I've never heard of, I will bleep that out as well. Or a store, or just a store or a restaurant that I've never heard of that's not known to me, I'll bleep that out. All the responses, though, are going to be anonymous. So when you turn your response in, you can not have to worry about your name being shown. The only person that's going to see the form is me. No one else is going to read them. It's going to be locked, and it's going to be completely confidential. I'm not even going to know who submits their stories. That's how anonymous I wanted to keep this. So you, when you're filling out these forms, you can get as personal as you want. I'm not going to know who to turn them in. No one's going to know except you, as the person filling out the form, is the only person that's going to know who is saying it. And you're not going to have to put your name in there. You're not going to put email stuff in there. I mean, it's completely anonymous. So those forms will be published mostly on my social media accounts. So if you're friends with me on on my Snapchat, but for the other social medias like Instagram, I do have a Facebook page. I know I'm old. I was born in 1990. I was born in 2002, but Facebook to me just feels pre-2000s if you had it. Anyways, I do have a Facebook page for that. That's Instagram, Facebook, and in my personal Snapchat is basically where all these forms are going to go. It's going to be a link. You'll click on the link. It'll take you to the survey, and you will fill out the survey as needed. And then once you're done with the survey, all you'll do is you'll click submit, and that's all you have to do. And now I'm not going to be able to read every response that I get, but I'm just going to pick probably a few that I feel fell. Oh, I sometimes wonder why I picked journalism as my degree, and then sometimes I wonder, how did I graduate? Because I have the speech of a redneck. So, but that was just my fun way of getting you involved, and I could have guests on my show as well. guests could get a little tricky because I want to have like a good guest on there. I don't want some rando on there. I have to know you a little bit and see if you would be a fit for the podcast. So, but yeah, guests are more happen to appear on here. That's just a possibility of how it'll go. But honestly, guys, I think that's all I have. I think I covered everything, and now I'll probably edit and I'll forget to say something because that's just how my brain is. But yeah, that's basically how this podcast will go. This is how this show will go. So I appreciate you guys listening. I cannot wait to start this next step in doing this. I've been wanting to do this for 3 years now. That could be another thing of me explaining the process of getting this podcast up, because it has been a shit show of how I got here. But if you would like to stay updated and be informed of when episodes are released, you can follow the podcast. The podcast will be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. Those are the 4 main platforms right now. If there's any more platforms that will take it, I will definitely let you guys know so that you won't be left out. But those are the 4 main ones. It's Lethal Venom is the name of the show. Social media wise, if you want to catch me on other platforms, my personal Instagram is The Noah Show with 3 W's at the end because someone wanted to be petty and just take the 1 W, so I had to put 3 at the end of the show. But it's The Noah Show, lowercase, no special characters. And then there is an Instagram account for the podcast called Lethal Venom Podcast. It's all lowercase, no extra letters, nothing. It's just Lethal Venom Podcast. Those are the platforms where you can find updates of where the podcast and those are the main places where you can find the forums for when you want to participate in the episode. And I will post the surveys before the episode I film to give y'all a chance to submit them and get them turned in. So I'm not going to submit it right before I do the episode. I might give it a day or two just to give people time to submit them. On Facebook, I have a page called Noah's Podcast. Just search Noah's Podcast on Facebook and it should pop up. I am going to put all the links and everything in the description box as well. So if you forget and want to look back at it, it'll be in the description box for you. So you don't have to backtrack and try to catch it again. I do have another podcast out called Southern Reads. It's a book podcast. If you like to read, if you're a book fanatic, if you know someone that is obsessed with books that would probably marry a book if they could, that's the podcast for them. It's basically a show where I talk about books and only books and everything book related. And that's, again, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, same thing as this podcast. So that's all I really have for you guys today. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. There will definitely be more episodes for you soon. I guess I could give like a little teaser at the end of the episodes. So I did say I have a dating episode coming out. Kind of a Valentine's Day themed podcast. So you can look forward to that. I'm also thinking about doing a mental health episode. Telling you about my journey with that. Also, I mentioned earlier about high school. There is definitely going to be a high school episode, and then school in general. I mean, there's so many ideas out there, but so those are just some of the episode ideas that I have in mind. And of course, there's way more ideas where that comes from. But as always, I thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all in the next episode of Lethal Venom. Take care, and I'll see you then.